2, 3. a good Friday morning and welcome to Woodbine Mohawk Park as we get set for this year's edition of the Rookie Showcase. 2-year-olds in the spotlight here this morning. 6 races with fillies taking center stage, both trotters and pacers in the kickstart of a big weekend here in Campbellville, Ontario. Of course, we've got Pepsi North America Cup eliminations tomorrow evening and some other high-profile stakes events, eliminations coming up both tonight and tomorrow as we welcome you trackside. Greg Blanchard, Mark McKelvey here on Primetime Racing. Wonderful to be back this year with coverage of the baby races. Our first look at 2-year-old pacers, future stars of the sport. Mark, always an exciting time. Mother Nature blessing us with a beautiful morning, and anticipation is high as we look at some of these horses that we watch go through sales rings around North America last year, make their debuts today.
Yeah, it's a big cycle, really, when you think about it. And as we look into the weekend here at Woodbine Mohawk Park with those big stakes races coming up and all the eliminations, they had to start somewhere, and that's exactly where we are here today. And I think it'd actually be a little fun if we had a little extra time just to go back to even think of last year on these first couple of days of the baby races, just to remember who did we see? Who caught our eye? Where did they go on to? Some maybe were kind of going under the radar. Others maybe came out guns a-blazing, and we don't know too much about them now. But it's all a process, and we know that really well. So excited to see the rookies here today. And it's all fillies today. It'll be the Colts and Geldings tomorrow. Not going to be the busiest of days. 6 today, 6 tomorrow. But good numbers for the first weekend, and you know that's just going to amplify come next weekend and the weekend after as this month rolls along.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice chance to get an up-close look at some of these newcomers. It's going to be the first time that we're seeing them. Very different than covering an overnight program or a stakes card where we, by this point know who's who. We know a lot about them. This is a totally blank slate, and we see them go through the sales ring, based on their pedigrees. We have high expectations for some, but when they get to this point, they don't know how much, people paid for them. And, we'll get a little bit of an indication. From a time perspective this morning, we don't expect a whole lot. Usually the first week, it's usually kind of just getting the process right and then sprinting in that final quarter.
Exactly that, and hopefully we'll see some eye-catching final quarters, which is kind of what you come used to seeing in these first couple of weeks of the baby races. That being said, though, I've been out here at Woodbine Mohawk Park several mornings over the last few weeks where we've had training going on here, and there's been a ton of babies in, and I know one trainer is going to be very prominent today and over the weekend. That's Blake McIntosh. Those horses have been coming through here, a lot of them. So some are maybe going to be ready to go a little quicker than others, but everybody's kind of got a different game plan, right, for that first week. And I had one driver tell me that if they are even noticed today with one of their babies, they're doing their job wrong because they just kind of want to bury them and give them that experience the first time around.
You mentioned Blake McIntosh. He'll be the busiest of the conditioners this morning. Blake coming off a career best season, and he's been at it a long time, and he's had many great years, but none better than last season. He's hoping to parlay that right into this year, and he's got a really nice bunch of young performers in the barn as he looks ahead to what could be an exciting season for him. There's a look at the career statistics for him. He's always been a major player, certainly in the Ontario Sire Stakes program as well. And we'll see him with 14 starters here this morning, as you mentioned. One of those guys he's kind of known for, they put in the work all season long, and they are ready to go typically at first asking from his barn.
Yeah, and you see the numbers. Clearly they are, and that just shows you that the process, it works, and throughout the winter. And for some, it kind of depends on the conditions. And this was a pretty harsh winter overall, so you'd have to think for some trainers, maybe it threw them off, but the Blake McIntosh stable is certainly ready to go. And this is what I talk about, how it's such a cycle, because coming up tomorrow night, he's got a pair of starters in the eliminations for the North America Cup, but yet that day of what are we tomorrow night, June 7th, June 7th would have been circled for the North America Cup, but this weekend's also circled because he's got a whole new group of horses that he's getting ready to debut. So it just shows that this racing game, it never really slows down.
And you have to have good staff when you're that busy as well. It's going to be all hands on deck for the operation here this weekend. Not only this morning, tomorrow morning as well, with another set of 2-year-old qualifiers and all of those stakes eliminations both tonight and tomorrow evening here as well. There's a look at the field of 6 that we're going to see in the opener. So we've got 3 groups of pacers, 3 groups of trotters this morning. And again, it's all fillies here this morning on the first of our Rookie Showcase days. We'll touch on some of these, of course, as we see them come out for that first qualifier shortly. Quick thought, Mark, on Elimination Weekend. You know, did the numbers shake out in most of the big races as you thought they were going to?
Well, my guess for the North America Cup going into Tuesday's draw was there'd be 24 entered, and we ended up with 23. So it is a little easier when you're about a day out and you can go through all the list of eligibles and have a bit of an idea of who's going to be entering. But 23 gives 3 eliminations. I think it's one of the only major stake races in harness racing, at least here in North America, that consistently gets 3 eliminations. We had one year there not too long ago where we had 4. It makes for some great racing where you got to be in the top 3, and there really isn't that case of anybody just sort of sneaking through to get into the final. Everyone's certainly got to earn their way. Some of the other stakes events coming up this weekend, there are going to be some smaller fields in those eliminations, but the star power is just so heavy. You think about the Horse of the Year here in Canada, Chantilly, and there was the Will She or Won't She storyline going the North America Cup. She's in the Fan Hanover, and you know, it's still such an intriguing race because in the other elimination tomorrow night is the 2-year-old filly of the year from the U.S. So there's still a lot of matchups that we haven't seen play out that should develop this weekend and next here at Mohawk.
I was going to ask you, when you put your communications hat on, you had to be disappointed, you know, as a fan and in that role that she wasn't going to take on the boys, but an understandable decision.
Totally get it. Would have been a real cool storyline to definitely promote, and it's one of those things that when you notice some folks that are maybe casual racing fans or those that are around the track and maybe in some other areas of the business mentioning, hey, is Chantilly going to race in the North America Cup? It certainly had some buzz, and I don't blame the Connections for going the route that they're going to go. It's a long year. Totally get it. I will point out, you know, the class of George Millar, he even called the racetrack heading into the draw just to let them know I'm going in the Fan Hanover. I hope I didn't disappoint too many people because it certainly got some buzz. It would have been a great storyline, but that being said, I still think that potential showdown with Mickey and Minnie come the final, the fact they drew into separate eliminations is great. And speaking of that star power, Twin Bee Joe Fresh is going to return to Mohawk Park next week, and the Roses are red to defend her title. So it's not just the North America Cup. You go up and down that card come next weekend, and it's going to be just an all-star game, essentially, of racing.
So many great female pacers, and Twin Bee Joe Fresh, he talked about her. She could probably, you know, consider taking on the boys, I think, when she's at her best. And Chantilly now, you know, they're thinking along the same lines. And who knows, at some point this season, that could happen. But for now, she's going to stay against female rivals. I want to thank our sponsors for Primetime Racing. Several industry farms, organizations that help make this coverage possible here this morning. So big thank you going out to Harness Racing Update, the London Classic Yearling Sale, Sealster Farms, of course Winback Farms, Hanover Shoe Farms as well. You know, the greatest name in harness racing, and big players in recent years, of course, in the Ontario program as well. Twin Brook Farms just down the highway, Preferred Equine Online, and the Hambletonian organization as well. Wonderful to have them all supporting Prime Time Racing. And it's wonderful to have everybody tuning in this morning. We hope you enjoy the coverage and getting our first look at some of the future stars of racing as they get ready to hit the racetrack. So probably going to be the first of a couple of qualifiers, at least 2 for most of them. We rarely see one come in this early, drop right in the box. But, you know, what they do this morning, Mark, will probably tell us a lot about where their next start will be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think if you look at the way the calendar falls, this is just one of those years where last Saturday was the final day of May. It could have been one of those cases where if it falls on the Saturday being June 1, we probably have baby races last weekend. It's not unusual to see the first 2-year-old race of the season here at Mohawk come up on the night before the North America Cup on that Friday evening. You never know. Maybe somebody's going to come out of this weekend and decide to go in, but hard to say. You just only expect that we're going to see a few tours of this oval in the morning for many of these rookies. That being said, there is a stakes event at the end of the month, the Tompkin Gear Stakes, which was a new event added to the Mohawk Stakes schedule last year, a race that typically happens south of the border. Came in here last year. It's got divisions for all the 2-year-old groups, and it comes up at the end of June. So you kind of get rewarded if you've got your baby ready to go right off the hop. There's a chance to race for a little added money.
So we're going to look at the horses in the paddock location just a few moments before they step onto the track. There's Dave Maneri. It's been a good season for him so far this year, and he's got some high-profile youngsters going out over the next couple of mornings. She's gone post 3-starter in here. She's a better's delight to filly as we continue to take a look at them. I'm going to, while we're doing this, try and get a pronunciation on the two.
You don't think it's earache?
That's what I thought when I looked yesterday. But then I said, I'm looking at the dam's name. I think it's an Irish. Mm-hmm. I think it's one of those Irish names that we're going to have to get a clarification.
You're not going to take a guess?
I'm going to probably get on the Google search, I think. And
there's a good chance Debbie will probably be walking by and we can ask her when the horse heads out to the track. That's always the tricky part with the babies, and I will say that. Having been up in the booth for several years here on these qualifiers, I typically will get a few messages after that.
Sure.
You didn't get that one right, but sometimes they don't come as they look, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and you're right. I thought the same thing. I said, it's maybe just one of those one-word names and a little play on words, earache. But I don't think. Who knows? Maybe it is pronounced as it looks there. So they're getting set to come on out here. We've got a 6-pack for the opener. There's Doug McNair. He's been busy. Not only driving, he's been doing some whirlwind traveling, and he was fortunate enough to take in Game 1 of the Edmonton Oilers' victory in the Stanley Cup final first game.
If you knew that he was there and you knew where he was sitting, which I was aware, it was kind of distracting to watch the game because he was right behind the Edmonton net for periods 1 and 3, and he was certainly enjoying the game. And then quite the photo that comes out after of the overtime winner and who's right there on the glass banging, but Doug McNair.
Yeah, it's certainly a nice memory, I'm sure, for him. There is Deb Moran with the post 2 starter here. We're not going to attempt the name right now. We're going to try and find that out. And it is a Sunshine Beach filly, we can tell you that. First foal of a Warweed Needy mare, homebred. And it's going to be Tyler Borth. Was scheduled to be Jody Jamieson. Tyler Borth will take over the drive on this one. Deb, we're going to get you to come over and give us a clarification on how you pronounce your horse's name. Iraq. Okay. So
Iraq. There we go.
I'm glad we got that. Thank you, Deb. Good luck. So it's Iraq, not earache, as we thought it probably was.
Of course.
Here's Laney Blue, the number 1 in the field. This is a Captain Treacherous 2-year-old filly. A $12,000 Lexington yearling purchase bred by the Crawford Farms of New York. And from an Art Major mare, Pleasant Beauty. And this one is a sibling to a nice one called Beautiful Roz, a 151 and 3 winner with a little over $150,000 banked.
Quite the family there. Pleasant Beauty, of course. Then you go down into the second dam. I mean, it just trickles down with nothing but champions in this sport. So certainly some nice pedigree backing that one there in Laney Blue. You just saw the full field on the screen, and great job by our crew. They've got those driver changes updated right away, so you can associate who will be sitting behind these rookies as this field of 6 all shows up. And there it is, once again, up on the screen. One horse that stands out to me in this group is going to be a Cattle Wash filly, number 4, Play Something Sweet, as Cattle Wash now moves to Ontario, and I think is going to make an impact right away.
Yeah, this one is a full sibling to one called Red Menace, who's shown some ability in just 5 starts coming in here. A Chestnut filly. She'll be easy to pick out on the track here. I'm intrigued as well by number 6, A Bet's a Bet, an all bets off filly from the Mach 3 mare West Third. Now this is the 3rd foal for her. First 2 are $200,000 plus winners. So She comes from an incredible maternal family as well. She has thrown already Do Better, who's been a big player in the Ontario Sire Stakes, almost 300,000 on his card. Better Option, the other one, has earned 221,000. And then again, you go to the second dam, great producer there, who's had the likes of LA Delight somewhere in LA, both $1.8 million winners. So incredible family there. And for Jeff Williams, he'll be training a bunch. These are Bob McIntosh homebreds, the late great Bob McIntosh. Jeff, a longtime assistant.
Absolutely, and certainly kind of got thrusted into a tough situation last year there, but an opportunity now with a group of babies that they would have developed over the winter, and now getting set to debut, and the entire ownership group behind them putting a lot of support in him and giving him every opportunity to succeed with these youngsters.
There's another look at Laney Blue, the Captain Treacherous filly that we talked about prior to this one. Courtly Choice, represented in here by the number 5 All-Star Lady. And this one, fourth foal of the mare, all the ladies. First 3 have all made the races. And this one trained by Blake McIntosh, one of his brigade of starters here this morning. Courtly Choice, a stallion that I like what I've seen from him early in his stallion career.
Absolutely, and I think it's one of those things that sometimes certain horses have the bigger numbers behind them, and I think Courtly Choice is one of those that the numbers are just going to continue to grow. And you think about, we talked about Blake McIntosh's busy weekend. Courts on Fire is a starter in the Pepsi North America Cup elimination, a New York Sire Stakes champion last year at 2, a son of Courtly Choice, so certainly representing very well.
And Sterling Choice will be in there for Blake as well in the NA Cup of Limbs. We're going to see a sibling to that one later today. I know Ozzie McKay, co-owner, good buddy of ours, is here this morning as well to watch. Try and get him on maybe a little bit later in the show here this morning. And yeah, exciting times, certainly for the ownership group and the entire operation, and what's going to be a very, very busy weekend for them, and many other local stables as well. So, Mark, you're gonna call the action from
double
the
duty
desk here again this morning. So we'll let you take it away here with Qualifier 1.
All right, we got a field of 6 that is lining up for our first of 6 qualifiers today. It's 2-year-old pacing fillies in the opener, and as always with our baby races, when they debut, the horses have an opportunity to get behind the starting gate, go a little extra distance here, get familiar with the wings. It's a field of 6 from the inside out. Laney Blue will be the 1. This is a daughter of Captain Treacherous. Laney Blue, a graduate of the Lexington Select Sale, a $12,000 U.S. purchase. Iraq is the number 2, a homebred. This is a daughter of Sunshine Beach. Number 3 is She's Gone, a daughter of Better's Delight. The 4 is Play Something Sweet, this daughter of Cattle Wash, graduate of the Harrisburg Sale, $25,000 U.S. Number 5 is All Star Lady, out of the Goshen Yearling Sale. That graduate of that sale, $11,000 she brought. She's a daughter of Courtly Choice. And number 6 is a Bet's a Bet. This is a daughter of All Bets Off. Getting set to go for our first qualifier today. First 2-year-old qualifier of the season here at Woodbine Mohawk Park as the gate comes off the turn and into the stretch. And here they come. And they're off and pacing. It's going to be Play Something Sweet down the center of the track, who will strike the early lead. The others will be looking to get situated. Towards the inside is Iraq. To that one's wheel is She's Gone. On the outside, a Bet's a Bet, that outside starter, just kind of floating away there. We'll be looking for a seat. To that one's inside is All Star Lady. And then we will go back to Laney Blue as they drive into the first turn. And the leader up front here, this is going to be Play Something Sweet. It's Play Something Sweet to the opening panel as they're going to reach that marker in a time of 31-1. 31-1 is the opening quarter here. Moving into the backstretch, it's Play Something Sweet, the daughter of Cattle Wash, clear by 3 lengths. Back in second, it's Iraq. Then it's She's Gone in third. A Bet's a Bet, as mentioned from post 6, was able to land in the middle there. That one will draft along in fourth. Fifth up the backside is going to be All Star Lady. And the last one in line is Laney Blue. But still a loose leader up front here is Play Something Sweet. 31-1 was the opening quarter as they race past the midway point, and they hit the half And we'll get that time for you after as they race on to the far turn. It continues to be Play Something Sweet. A 3.5 length lead here, making their way into the far bend, racing along as they've got about 5/8 of the mile now contested. Iraq is still in second and starting to make up a little bit of ground now. She's Gone is in third. Fourth is A Bet's a Bet. Following along, fifth is All-Star Lady. 2 more lengths going back to Laney Blue. So the lead is going to get trimmed down to 2 lengths now, but it still is Play Something Sweet, who has control as they were by 3/4 in 1:32 and 4. The pacing fillies to the head of the lane as they'll try and sprint on home now. Play Something Sweet, trying to extend that lead once again. It's Play Something Sweet. Iraq in second. Here on the outside comes A Bet's a Bet, who is looking to make up ground now into third. Following that path is All-Star Lady. Far outside is Laney Blue. Down to the inside to She's Gone. Play Something Sweet, looking to go coast to coast, and will do just that in the first. It's Play Something Sweet to get it. Tight for second there as it was A Bet's a Bet. And on the outside, All-Star Lady had some good kick. Laney Blue is finishing up well. 2 minutes and 4/5 is the time of the mile. Play Something Sweet, the daughter of Cattle Wash, takes our first.
So just as we expected there, a sprint in the final quarter, 28-second final quarter for Play Something Sweet. This nice-looking chestnut daughter of Cattle Wash, and she got to the front here easily, got to control things for Jody Jamieson, and when he called upon her in the home stretch, that was a real nice way to finish up the mile. And for 2-year-olds on the lead, sometimes maybe it's a little bit of greenness. They could be looking for some company, but she seemed to be quite professional there. And certainly the 2 that were closing up second and third both finished well on the end. So some eye catchers right off the bat in the opener.
Real nice effort there from Play Something Sweet, and we didn't have the half-mile time. We'll get that in a little bit, but you know, they certainly after a 31 and a bit opener, I think they were probably going about the same there through that clip, and you could see a few of the others trying to get up a little closer going to 3/4, and then Jody decided, okay, now it's time to sprint, and she was again able to just sort of get away on them and wins it nicely. So a good-looking daughter of Cattle Wash as Jody Jamieson, the bike for trainer Paul Cameron, and you think of last year, they teamed up with Wicked Pace, who had a sensational rookie season. She was an O'Brien Award finalist for 2-year-old Pacing Filly of the Year, and has come back this season and will race in tomorrow night's Van Hanover Elimination. So another good-looking Pacing Filly for these connections.
Yeah, Paul and Jamie Cameron on the ownership. Paul trains Arnold's Horse Shack of Mississauga, part of the ownership group here as well. So right now, anyway, looking like a nice purchase for $25K out of the Harrisburg sale last fall.
And here you go. They are now the fastest 2-year-old in Canada this year.
I wonder how long that's going to last.
Well, we could make a bet right now. We'll see. I don't think the Trotters in the next thing. You never know. Maybe they'll be ready. They might even beat that. But I think that is kind of what we had in line, around 2 minutes, right? That's kind of what we expect with the last quarters picking it up.
So a nice-looking group to kick us off here this morning. Again, you are watching coverage of the Rookie Showcase here on Prime Time Racing. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be back to set up the second qualifier next.
Harness Racing Update covers the sport from all the angles, with news, opinion, features, photography, and the most comprehensive racing, breeding, and sales stories in the game from around the globe. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. Plus, HRU's popular Twos and Training series on YouTube gives you the first look at the stars of tomorrow. And the best news, it's all free. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com.
All sports dynasties share one thing.
Home run! Another world championship!
They dominate. Hanover Shoe Farms, the most successful breeder of Hambletonian champions, producing an impressive total of 11 winners, has dominated the race. Purchase Hanover yearlings at Harrisburg. Hanover Shoe Farms, a standard bred dynasty.
It doesn't get any better than that! Wow!
And welcome back to Woodbine Mohawk Park. A beautiful Friday morning. Looks like it's going to be a nice weekend. And it's an exciting weekend here at the Campbellville venue with eliminations tonight for trotters as we get set to focus on trotters here in qualifier number 2. Armbro Flight, limbs, good time limbs as well. I'm not sure, we're going to kind of go through here, I'm not sure if we have any siblings to ones that we're going to see this morning racing tonight in those limbs. I feel like that's the case tomorrow. I believe there might be a sibling later today to Sterling Choice who we're going to see, I think, in the NA Cup limbs tomorrow night. So that's always fun, right, to kind of connect the dots on that as we see this next wave of youngsters hit the track here. Good-looking group for qualifier 2.
And in the second qualifier, again, a field of 7. The field sizes aren't massive here today, which is probably a good thing for some of these youngsters, that there's not going to be a big group out there for at least this first tour around. It's scheduled to be a field of 7. One thing you certainly notice with the baby races, unlike some of the other qualifying days, is everyone's kind of got their target dates. So if you're entered, they're usually showing up. Sometimes you get some of the older, the 3-year-olds and up, it's a case of, well, the weather doesn't look too good or there's other issues and they'll just come back again next week. But you're trying to get these rookies on schedule and have them ready for what they hope is going to be a profitable season. And when we move over to the trot here, and what was interesting in the first qualifier from the field of 6 is it was 6 different stallions represented. And looking here in this field of 7 different sires here on the trot. So we're getting a good look at a variety of offspring here today.
Yeah, really a mixed bag. Some of the Ontario standouts in terms of trotting stallions. When you think muscle mass, of course, Green Manalishi, wheeling and dealing. And then you've got, Chapter 7, the top trotting stallion in the sport last year, of course. Green Shoot, exciting stallion, 6-pack, and bar hopping represented in here as well. So kind of a little bit of everything here. You talked about the target dates and when we see 2-year-olds surface, and a lot of times it just depends on how they train down. And what I take on ones that we see out at the first asking on a day like today is that they obviously didn't have too many hiccups along the way in the training down process, and showed that they're ready for this.
Yeah, and I think there's some trainers that maybe weren't even necessarily targeting this weekend, but the horses just have gone about their business and they've come along in such a fashion that they are ready to go. And I think for a lot of trainers, they're not putting too much pressure on when they're going to be ready. They're just hoping it's around kind of this weekend, maybe next, or at least mid-June. And I think by the fact that we've got a little over 80 2-year-olds that are going to be competing this weekend, a pretty healthy number for the first weekend.
So we've talked about Blake and how busy his morning is, and very busy in this qualifier alone with the inside 3 all coming from that barn. Northern Teardrop will be driven by Jody Jameson. James McDonald was scheduled to drive the 2. It looks like Doug's going to take over there. And Tyler Borth will be on the number 3 Sin from that stable as well. There's a look at the complete driver changes. So good job to the crew inside the production truck for getting those changes, as we don't get a chance, unfortunately, to get them before we come on air. So we're kind of reacting in real time. Team Max. As we often see at this time of year, they'll unveil some high-profile young trotters, and they've got the Chapter 7 filly in here, Who Dares Win. The mare Inspired By has been quite a producer so far. This one that we're seeing today, a sibling to 4 winners of $300,000 plus. Yeah, and I look at this field, and there's a lot of connections you can make going through a lot of the bloodlines here. I look at one like LMC Chip and Chocolate, the 5, who is a full sister to LMC Wagon Wheel, who's an OSS Gold winner. You look at the 6 Blue Rare, that's a muscle mass filly who's out of a Father Patrick mare, Pinky Lee. She a half-sister to Hambletonian winner Pinkman. So there's a lot of good connections here if you do a bit of a deep dive. There is a look at LMC Chip and Chocolate, who, as mentioned, LMC Wagon Wheel. Pat Hudon guided that one to an OSS Gold win early on in that one's career. Now this filly will try and follow in the Full Brothers' footsteps. Yeah, that Wagon Wheel's a nice improving trotter that I've been impressed with here. So, let's see if the filly can follow in Big Brother's footsteps here. And LMC Wagon Wheel is entered into those good time limbs here this evening. So it's always interesting to watch. There's Sin number 3, Tyler Borth teaming up for trainer Blake McIntosh. This one owned by Terra Hills stud, and was bred by Crawford Farms. A bar-hopping filly, first foal from Cheval Blanc, and she's a sister to the Hambletonian winner and double millionaire Glide Master.
Yeah.
All kinds of pedigree potential in this field.
I was going to say how often you'd find a couple of dams in this field who are siblings to Hambletonian winners. I mean, again, it's obviously a bit about the shopping that you'll do come the time of the yearling sales and things along those lines here. But, this is a good-looking group. There's plenty of intrigue, I would say, in this field.
Yeah, and that's a good point, too, for folks when they're trying to add to their broodmare bands and they're trying to find those, potential champion broodmares. That's the kind of pedigree they're looking deep into the lineage to try and find. And we've got a couple of instances of that here, as it's a field of 7 trotting fillies moving up to the starting gate for qualifier number 2. Back to you, Mark.
All right, 2-year-old trotting fillies, a field of 7 who are lining up right now in the hands of the starter. Number 1 is Northern Teardrop, a daughter of Green Shoe. The 2 is Sugar Packet. That's a daughter of Six Pack. Sugar Packet, a graduate of the Lexington Select Sale, $11,000 US. 3 Sin Sin is a daughter of Bar Hopping, coming out of the Lexington Sale as well, $35,000 graduate of that yearling sale. The 4 is Who Dare Wins. LMC Chip and Chocolate is the 5. Just going back to the 4, Who Dares Wins. That's a daughter of Chapter 7. LMC Chip and Chocolate, the 5 is a daughter of Wheelin' and Dealin'. 6 is Blue Rare, daughter of Muscle Mass, $32,000 Lexington Select yearling sale. And 7 is Belle Boo Boo, and that's a green Manalishi filly. Here we go. This is the second qualifier, 2-year-old trotting fillies. They're lined up, and here they come. And they're off and trotting, and everybody on their best behavior getting out of there. Holding ground at the rail will be Northern Teardrop. Just forging ahead is that daughter of Green Shoe to strike the early lead. Sugar Packet gets away in second. Belle Boo Boo on the outside is moving on up into third. Who Dares Wins gets away in fourth. Then it's going to be Blue Rare, and then we will go back to the final pair. That's going to be Sin Sin, and at the back of the bus is LMC Chip and Chocolate. So they get into single file order now, racing to the opening quarter. Northern Teardrop just show the way. 30-3 was the opening panel. So it's the daughter of Green Shoe, Northern Teardrop, who does lead it. In second is Sugar Packet. And then again, getting up into third was Belle Boo Boo. Showed a little bit of early speed to get into the upper half of this group of 7. Who Dares Wins is trotting along in fourth. Fifth up the backside then is going to be Blue Rare. 6 is Sin Sin. And the trailers LMC, Chip and Chocolate. So from front to back, it's about 12 to 15 lengths separated. Just a couple of gaps along the way as they come up to the half. And Northern Teardrop does lead it. They were by the midway point in 101-3. Northern Teardrop from Sugar Packet in second. Belle Boo Boo is then trotting along in third. Who Dares Wins is right up behind that one in fourth. Fifth is going to be Blue Rare. Sin Sin is sixth, and seventh into the far bend continues to be LMC Chip and Chocolate. There's been no change in order as they're midway around the far turn. Northern Teardrop still the leader by a little more than 2. Sugar Packet, the daughter of Six Pack's been following along in second. Third continues to be Belle Boo Boo as they come to 3/4. Northern Teardrop gets them to that station in 1:32.1. First mover coming out of the turn is Belle Boo Boo, popped to the outside. Sugar Packet wasn't waiting any longer and comes on by. It's Sugar Packet on the outside. Northern Teardrop trying to respond. Off stride went Belle Boo Boo when making that bid. So Sugar Packet now takes the lead with the 16th to go. Northern Teardrop in second. Who Dares Wins is back in third. Blue Rare on the outside, passing that rival late. It'll be Sugar Packet to take qualifier number 2. Wins it by 2.5 lengths in a time of 2 minutes and 3/5.
Solid 59-second back half and 28-2 final quarter on the end for Sugar Packet, who sat the 2-hole most of the way. Tips out late and goes by for the victory here. This daughter of Six Pack from a good maternal family as well. Sister to 3 winners of $100,000 plus, and could be a bargain basement yearling purchase here. $11,000 in Lexington last year. One of 3 in the field for trainer Blake McIntosh. He finishes 1-2 here. Blue Rare, the muscle mass filly. Nice rally late. This one owned by the stable Blue Rare Group of Ohio. Rallies for third over Who Dares Wins. who was 4th. Nice looking group for the most part. They all handled nice and professionally, Mark. Just one breaker kind of late in the mile when asked for a little bit more speed. So back to the drawing board for that filly, Belle Boo Boo, who was looking good up until that point in time. But for the most part, yeah, they all handled quite well.
I would have to think that one was feeling pretty good for Scott Young because he was the first to move there going into 3/4. They were almost at the head of the lane, and she looked like she was ready to go. And her making that move then forced Sugar Packet to say, okay, it's time to go as well. And you're right, just getting asked for a little more speed. They certainly were trying to turn it into a sprint there, and that one rolls off stride. But again, one to keep an eye on coming back next week because I thought up until that point was looking very promising. And it's one of those things that we probably continue to say each and every year, and with each year that passes, Greg, you know, these horses just come along, and the amount of breakers you used to see in the baby races certainly has dwindled over the years as the breed has just continued to improve.
And this morning we've talked about it. You're not looking so much at the overall speed. You're just kind of looking for the body language of the horses, how they handle during the race. And I think you've got to give 2 thumbs up here to Sugar Packet. Just kind of a nice-sized filly, I would say. Not too big, not too small. Really nice, nice gaited. Looks like you know, she's very easy to manage in the race. Or certainly from what we saw today, showed some tactical speed, the ability to sit in, and then when she got her cue from driver Doug McNair, knew exactly what to do.
Exactly that.
We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be back with qualifier number 3 next.
Harness Racing Update covers the sport from all the angles, with news, opinion, features, photography, and the most comprehensive racing, breeding, and sales stories in the game from around the globe. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. Plus, HRU's popular Twos in Training series on YouTube gives you the first look at the stars of tomorrow. And the best news? It's all free. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com.
Winback Farm of Ontario is home to outstanding sires, including a 3-time millionaire pacer tattoo artist who is new in 2025, the last great son of the legendary Sub Beach Somewhere and multiple stakes champion Beachglass, Meadowlands Pace and Ontario Sire Stakes champion Lawless Shadow, and the richest pacing stallion in all of harness racing history, the great Hall of Famer Mick Wicked. Also standing at Winback Farm, Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line by MVP and Trixton. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.
Welcome back. You're watching the Rookie Showcase, Day 1 on Primetime Racing. The new Primetime Racing, which debuted at our Camelot Classic event last weekend in London. Of course, we'll have coverage of the Pepsi North America Cup from right here at Mohawk Park next Saturday night. Just getting word, too, just a technical issue with our graphics. I think we had the owners and the breeders just reversed there. So that's been noted. That's going to be rectified here as we go forward. Just growing pains with a new show. But, yeah, Primetime Racing, produced by the award-winning Cujo Entertainment. And, yeah, we are excited. This is one of the events I always look forward to most, Mark. I don't know about you, but just, again, it's just a blank slate, seeing all these new faces and just seeing what promise lies ahead for the what are going to be the future stars, the ones that we're going to be watching in the big races like we're going to see here this weekend.
Well, that's it, and everyone's got to start somewhere. And I think a lot of people would echo those sentiments that you really look forward to the 2-year-olds coming out onto the track. There's a little bit of mystery. There's a little bit of certainly intrigue into who could be those ones to become those next champions in our sport. And if you go back to, of course, the yearling sales and your involvement with the London yearling sale, if you were in Lexington or Harrisburg, they're kind of names, they're horses that you first get to see then, and then it's just a waiting game, several months. But here we are, finally into June, and finally with some good weather and nice warm weather, because if last weekend had been the start of baby races, last Saturday certainly did not feel like we were getting into baby race season. I think at last Saturday night here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, by the end of the card, it felt like +3.
We deserve it, Mark.
Certainly.
Us folks here in Ontario, it was a long, tough winter. Mother Nature I don't know. She had a bee in her bonnet this year. And, it lingered a lot longer than we would anticipate. But today feels more like it. This is what we expect at this time of year. And, perfect way to unveil the newest group of 2-year-olds for 2025. And you talked about it, putting on the my London Classic sale cap. Speaking of that, it's always fun at this time of year. Tomorrow, for example, we'll be looking ahead to last year's sale topper, who sold as Salzburg Big Dog, and he'll be out making his first qualifier of the season for Dave Maneri tomorrow as the pacing Colts and trotting Colts take center stage. But it's all about the fillies today, and another good-looking group of 7 here. And again, we're seeing a wide variety of pedigrees here. 7 different stallions, I believe, represented.
Again, it is, yeah. So that's 3 consecutive qualifiers where there's been no doubles, essentially, for a stallion. And, now we go from our first pacing event to our second pacing event here in the third. And now you see a daughter of Century Pharaoh on the page here as well, one of Summa Cum Laude. So we've got a few different names popping up here in this third qualifier that we'll get a peek at. Of course, Century Pharaoh just was a terrific performer for trainer Dr. Ian Moore. We'll see how he fares now. As Briss Sealster will be the inside starter. Jody Jamieson sitting behind that one.
That one was a $22,000 London Classic yearling purchase. Courtney Bishop trains, Jody drives, Century Pharaoh, as you said. Going to get the first look at that first crop this season, so excited about that. Of course, we're going to see some of the first crop of Bulldog Hanover today as well. I think people have been waiting for that, certainly. But yeah, a couple of Ohio-based stallions here, Summa Cum Laude and Captain Victorious, names that maybe just aren't as familiar as some of the others, but they were accomplished racehorses. I remember Summa Cum Laude on the racetrack. He heated back in 2020 in that Breeders' Crown 2-year-old colt pace with Perfect Sting at the time. He was a high-speed individual. Captain Victorious, I had to go and look him up again. I just couldn't recall. There's so many good horses with the captain in the name, and when you looked at him, he had a pretty impressive resume. He was second. I didn't realize second in a North America Cup elimination and a Hempt elimination and a graduate leg, and made almost $500,000 during his career.
And stands in Michigan. So this is
Michigan,
Michigan sired. Right. Yeah, so next door, of course. They probably don't want us to say that. There's a good rivalry between the Buckeyes and then the Wolverines. But Captain Victorious from Michigan, and this one's owned by the stable. And that's one thing I know with Anthony McDonald's group is they do try to obviously spread out. And I know being at the Lexington sale with them the last few years, the folks from Michigan are usually represented, and they talk a little bit about their sale and what they're trying to do. And, it's one of those areas that has a rich history in the harness racing game, and so many good people have come from there. And, they've certainly had some of their challenges and some tough times, but they continue to truck through. And the stable supporting, giving an opportunity here to a daughter of Captain Victorious, so a Michigan sired performer that we'll see here.
Is their horse racing rivalry as big as the football?
I'm going to guess, I don't know, probably not.
We're not going to wade in there with an opinion. We don't want to offend anybody.
They take that very serious. They take that very serious.
So they're getting set to go here, as Mark said, a really good-looking field of 7. We talked about NA Cup eliminations, Sterling Choice Racing, and we talked about the sister racing, and it's American Shine, your post-7 starter here. She's an American Ideal half-sister to Sterling Choice, who we're going to see in those NA Cup elims tomorrow night. It's a good-looking group of 7 taking up their positions here for qualifier number 3, and here's Mark once again with the play-by-play.
Number 1 here in this group of 7 is Briss Sealster. She is a daughter of Century Pharaoh, $22,000 London Classic yearling sale purchase. 2 is Tainted Love. She's a daughter of Cattle Wash. The 3, 5-star rating, daughter of Control the Moment, a $29,000 London Classic purchase. Number 4 is Summa Zetam. This is a daughter of Summa Cum Laude. That one, a graduate of the Ohio Select Sale, $9,000 US. Next up will be number 5, Dune, and Dune is a daughter of Captain Victorious. The 6 is Midnight Bridget, a daughter of Betting Line, $25,000 London Classic grad, and 7 is American Shine, who is a graduate of the Lexington Select Sale, $40,000 US, and a daughter of American Ideal. A field of 7 lined up. Third qualifier today. Starting gate to the top of the stretch, they'll pick up speed, and here they come. And they're off and pacing, and Midnight Bridget gets the first call from the outside American Shine. So the outside two are the quickest away as they go forward, and crossing over as well will be Dune. So the outside three get away 1, 2, 3. At the inside is Briss Sealster to get away 4. Tainted Love will dip in behind in 5th, then to 5-star rating, and Suma Z-Tam will round things out. Around the first bend, American Shine was sent to the lead here, and it's American Shine for Tyler Borth. The opening quarter was paced in 29 and 4. Midnight Bridget pockets up there in 2nd. Dune is then right on that one's helmet in 3rd. 4th is Briss Sealster as they straighten into the backstretch. Tainted Love is racing in 5th. 6th is 5-star rating, and Suma Z-Tam is the trailer, and we get a move here in the second split. Midnight Bridget's going to loop around to take control. So it's Midnight Bridget to take the lead away from the stable mate. That puts American Shine back in 2nd. Right in behind is Dune in 3rd. 4th, as they come to the midway point, is Briss Sealster. Tainted Love, 5-star rating, Suma Z-Tam. They were by the half in 1 minute and 4/5. 31 seconds in the second quarter. We did have a lead change there as Midnight Bridget, who's a daughter of Betting Line, now leads it by nearly 2. American Shine, the early leader, is in 2nd. Dune is right behind there 3rd. A couple of lengths going back to Briss Sealster in 4th. Then it's about 2.5 lengths to Tainted Love. She's racing in 5th. 5-star rating, and Suma Z-Tam continue to hold their positions at the back as they come to 3/4. And it is Midnight Bridget by 3/4 in 1:30 and 2 to the top of the stretch after a 29 and 3 third quarter, and a little greenness there coming out of the turn for American Shine, who had to kind of duck down into the pylons for a moment. Meanwhile, Midnight Bridget got away on them, leads it by 4. Dune is into 2nd, Briss Sealster in 3rd. American Shine looking to regroup there, and will hold on to 4th. A late push coming now on the outside from Dune, trying to time it. Here's Dune, going to nail Midnight Bridget at the wire. Dune got it from Midnight Bridget. Briss Sealster was 3rd. American Shine was 4th. It was Dune, the daughter of Captain Victorious, in 1:58 and 1.
Well, that was certainly an impressive final quarter rally from Dune, the daughter of the aforementioned Captain Victorious, 58 and 1 with 27 and 4 final quarter speed. Hers probably a little tick faster than that even. She was coming by horses late to haul down a strong leader in Midnight Bridget. That one certainly was not giving up anything, but just paced by with that quick acceleration in the final stages. So nice efforts from the top two. Again, another one handling a little bit green. American Shine turning for home. Just kind of bolted to the left there. I don't know if she fully went off stride or not, but regrouped, finished up strong, and that's what the benefit of these first few qualifiers are for, that experience.
Absolutely, and you can see they're a little gapped out at times too, not necessarily always tightly packed, as you'll see once they get a little more experience there. And for that one, like you said, kind of ducks into the rail for a moment, but then straightens things back out. But how about Dune? That was a very impressive. I kind of thought this one was over with a 16th to go. It looked like Midnight Bridget, and to that one's credit, still paced in probably 58 and 1, only lost by maybe half a length, but Dune just kind of really got it into another gear there, and you like when you see horses passing late, and certainly she had a target and she was able to track it down.
And the stable, they have ownership far and wide. They support sales all over North America. And yeah, so here's one that a little bit of a different pedigree than we had seen, but looks like they've scooped out a good one here in Dune. I really like what I saw this morning.
Certainly, and one of those barns as well that we talk about, the trainers that have their horses ready for these first couple of weeks of baby races, and there's a lot of early money that can be made. So Captain Victorious' daughter Dune gets the job done in 1:58 and 1.
Naturally, we tend to focus on mornings like this, the horses that finish first, second, third, and there are other ones, that finish a little bit further back that do exactly what the connections are hoping for, right? Everyone's got a different sort of a game plan, a different schedule for where they want the horses to be and what they're looking for out of this morning's session. So you have to be careful not to read a whole lot in, but it's hard not to get excited about some of these youngsters that especially like we saw there, that show that kind of final quarter speed and do it relatively easily. So we are halfway through this morning's first qualifying session as you're watching the Rookie Showcase here on Prime Time Racing.
Preferred Equine Online has proven time and time again to be the industry's online provider, selling the highest priced horses in all categories online, including racehorses, broodmares, yearlings, weanlings, and stallion shares. Full service, trusted and transparent. Contact Preferred for your online sales needs at www.preferredequineonline.com or call 914-773-7777.
All sports dynasties share one thing.
Home run! Another world championship!
They dominate. Hanover Shoe Farms, the most successful breeder of Hambletonian champions, producing an impressive total of 11 winners, has dominated the race. Purchase Hanover yearlings at Harrisburg. Hanover Shoe Farms, a standard bred dynasty.
It doesn't get any better than that! Wow!
6 qualifiers this morning for the 2-year-olds, 3 in the books, 3 more to come, and we'll be going to have a look at a group of trotters next. We want to again thank our valued sponsors for making this broadcast possible today. Some of the biggest breeding farms in the sport: Sealster Farms, of course, Winback Farm, and Hanover Shoe Farms, along with Twinbrook, Preferred Equine Online as well. Harness Racing Update, the Hambletonian Society, and the London Classic Yearling Sale. Big thank you to all of them. And certainly those breeding farms, Mark, are likely going to be tuning in today. They'll be busy at their respective operations, but I'm sure they've got an eye on things today. This has to be a tremendously exciting time for them.
Absolutely. Winback's got just huge numbers, and they're represented by 3 in the upcoming 4th qualifier, so that kind of points things out there as well. And they put a lot of work into getting these horses prepped and ready, and then eventually they move on to their trainers, and at this point it's kind of out of their hands, but they're certainly hoping to see them go on and have very successful racing careers. So again, it's all about the cycle of racing, as we talked about here this morning. That's a little bit part of it, and we'll get set now for our 4th qualifier as we flip back and forth between the Pacers and the Trotters.
Trotters this time. We've talked a little bit in recent weeks about how deep the older trotting group is, specifically here in Canada. It is an exciting time, and more great youngsters coming up through the pipeline. So this could be we could be getting a look at some of the horses, I'm sure we are, that we'll see down the road in some of those major events. And you talk Ontario Stallions, that has become pretty deep water as well on the trotting side. You've got the already well-established Muscle Mass there as well. Archangel's been quite a trotting stallion here in the province, but now you throw Green Manalishi into the mix. We're going to see some King of the North selling this fall. People are excited about him. Wheelin' and Dealin', of course, looks like a Chippendale. So, strong program. But the veteran Muscle Mass still making his presence felt, and we'll see him with 2 of the 6 starters in this group.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Muscle Mass just continues to have standout performers year in and year out, and there was a little question, who's going to challenge, obviously, here in Ontario. And Green Manalishi had that really impressive rookie group last year. That first crop that just came onto the track and was guns a-blazing with your likes of Mona Lishi. She had a huge season. She's a winner of over $500,000. Galen Urso's another one on the Colt side, because there was a lot of chatter about the fillies, at least for the Green Manalishi fillies, and how standout they were. I mean, you go down the list and you've got your Little Sweets and your Sprite Sealsters, but there's a Galen Urso as well, who is one of the top 3-year-old Colt trotters here locally, and is going to race in the Good Times eliminations tonight. So Green Manalishi trying to put a bit of a dent into Muscle Mass's supremacy here in Ontario, but Muscle Mass isn't going anywhere.
Both of those trotting stallions at Terra Hills and Port Perry. I see they're going to have a nice their open house on Father's Day. I believe Sealster, I'm not sure if they still do, or they have done a Mother's Day open house there. So that's always cool. People get to go out to the breeding farms and see these great stallions and the mares and foals, and they're always quite well received. I had a chance, I know, last year to see Chapter 7, and we're going to see represented in here, the top stallion in the sport at beautiful Blue Chip Farms last summer in New York, and boy, he looked fantastic, and has he ever made his mark in the stallion barn, and once again leading all trotting stallions by money winnings in North America this year.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's certainly, again, it's not like it's not a deep group, as you mentioned, each and every year here in Ontario. So the fourth qualifier here, I'm just looking here. Anything catching your eyes? Because you've got nice little scribbles on your pages there. I got the iPad going, but you've got some scribbles here. And what jumped out when you looked at this group of 6?
Well, Can You Keep a Secret is one that I was anxious to get a look at here. Muscle Mass, one of the 2 muscle masses in the field. The mare More Magic has already produced Incantation, a name familiar to folks that watch the provincial program, and Incantation, she's been a good one. Only 16 starts, but she's a 5-time winner, almost 100,000 earned, and a fast race record, and just getting better. So we'll see if the mare can click again. And then watching this one on Post Parade with Jody driving, I just really liked what I saw there. This one, again, a homebred of the late Bob McIntosh stables, and I think another one that's destined for the Ontario Sire Stakes program. It remains to see what level she will debut at, and this morning's qualifier will likely tell us a lot about that.
Certainly will. If we move on to the number 2, Storybook Love, I think the first thing that stood out to me was the tag on this one, the yearling price, $210,000 US. So this is going to be our biggest ticket that is qualifying here this morning, and this is a daughter of Chapter 7 out of the credit winner mare Sterling Debutante. That'll go for trainer-driver Matt Bax, Brad Grant, Al Libfeld share ownership here, so some top connections that shelled out some good money to get this filly and ready to go in the first week.
And this one is sibling to Shirley Goodness, and that one's been tearing it up in Indiana in the Sire Stakes program, close to 400,000 earned while winning several times in that program. And this one a full sibling as well to one called Seismic Step, who's looked good. Just 4 starts for that one, but has shown a lot of potential. Stakes placed early on in the New York Sire Stakes program and looking quite competitive there. So you can see why they maybe gravitated to this one at the yearling sale, and exciting to see this one in action this morning. A splash of green next door. This one, the Green Manalishi in the field. Blake McIntosh with 3 more starters in here. This is one of the 3, and it looks like a solid pedigree as well.
Yeah, and at this point, you say next door, it's all McIntosh trainees all the way out for the rest of this group. And the one that he was sending out that caught my eye is that we get a look at a Captain Corey in the number 5, I Take the Cake. And Captain Corey, of course, it'll be interesting to see how he performs. He stands in Pennsylvania and is a horse that his racing career was just 14 starts, but just incredible. Had 10 wins over the course of that career. Was a Hambletonian winner. And there you get a look at I Take the Cake. So here's a daughter of Captain Corey.
Yeah, he's an exciting stallion that I think is going to get a lot of attention. And I'm wrong. I said Blake's got 3 in here. He's got 4 of the 6. So maybe strength in numbers for that operation here. Father Patrick, another outstanding stallion, and he's represented here by Anne-Marie's Cookie, the post 4 starter. This one is a sibling to a really top trotting horse called Barn Hall, $400,000 winner, and a good-looking youngster called Happy Jack B for the Team Svanstedt. They, of course, always have the plethora of top stakes performers, and this one has been a real solid New York Sire Stakes campaigner as well, through 10 starts with almost $250,000 earned. So plenty of pedigree potential. They all look fantastic, Mark. That's what strikes me going up to the gate here. And we'll get your description of qualifier number 4 next.
All right, 4th qualifier today, 2-year-old trotting fillies, a field of 6. The number 1, Can You Keep a Secret? She is a daughter of Muscle Mass. We'll move over to number 2, Storybook Love, daughter of Chapter 7, a $210,000 purchase from the Lexington Select Yearling Sale. 3 is A Splash of Green. She's a daughter of Green Manalishi, coming out of the London Classic Sale, $55,000. 4 is Anne-Marie's Cookie, daughter of Father Patrick, a graduate of the Lexington Select Sale for $37,000. 5 is I Take the Cake, from the first crop of Captain Corey. This filly comes out of the Harrisburg Sale, $15,000 graduate of that sales event. And then number 6 is Massive Victory, Muscle Mass filly, and another one that is a graduate of Harrisburg at $20,000. So it's a field of 6 in the hands of the starter as these 2-year-old trotting fillies are ready for today's 4th qualifier. Gate picks up speed, and here they come. They're off and trotting, and the field of 6 sent on their way with Anne-Marie's Cookie coming through the middle to strike the early lead. Massive Victory from the outside, though, is marching ahead, and she looks poised to grab early command. It'll be A Splash of Green on the outside, and that one, not sure that one's going to take a seat just yet. Might continue to work on up. Storybook Love got away in 4th. Can You Keep a Secret is then 5th, and I Take the Cake to round things out. So A Splash of Green, as mentioned, wasn't looking for a seat and gets out to the lead. The opening quarter was hitting 31-1 and grabbing control as A Splash of Green. She's a daughter of Green Manalishi, and she'll move him to the backstretch up top by 2.5, nearly 3 lengths. Massive Victory is in 2nd, and then we are going to find Anne-Marie's Cookie in 3rd. Storybook Love is 2 lengths behind that rival in 4th. Another 2 to Can You Keep a Secret, and 2.5 to the trailer I Take the Cake. As this field of 6, that's how they're situated coming up to the half. And the leader continues to be A Splash of Green. It's A Splash of Green by 1.5 lengths. They hit the midway point in 102.2. So cruising into the final turn here is A Splash of Green. In 2nd is Massive Victory, who got off the wings nicely to head out towards the top. As racing 2nd is 2.5 off the leader. In 3rd, that's still Anne-Marie's Cookie. 4th is Storybook Love, the Chapter 7 filly, still in behind there at the wood 4th. 2 lengths back then to Can You Keep a Secret, and I Take the Cake is racing in 6th, about 8 lengths from the lead. 3/4 clocking was 133 flat, and the trotting fillies will spin for home. And trying to close this one out is A Splash of Green. A Splash of Green still leading it comfortably now. Massive Victory in 2nd. Here on the outside is Anne-Marie's Cookie, and getting unleashed is Storybook Love, and Storybook Love is making up some ground. She's now moving up into 2nd. She's got to make up a couple lengths late. A Splash of Green nearly home. A Splash of Green will take it. Storybook Love with that good final quarter was 2nd. Massive Victory was 3rd. Can You Keep a Secret through the wire 4th, 159 and 4. A Splash of Green, a daughter of Green Manalishi, in today's 4th.
Was the 3/4 time correct, Mark? 133?
Well, we'll have to double check that.
Wow.
I mean, I will.
If so, that's
Yeah.
26 and 4 on the end.
Didn't click in right away there. Yeah, that would be 26 and 4. And what would be notable isn't, I don't know if it's 26 and 4 for the winner. It would actually be Storybook Love, who was sitting probably 5-6 lengths off the lead. So we'll double check that.
Let's get some clarification.
Yeah, 59 and 4, though. I'm going to say that could have been spot on because seems about right. Might have just been a little slow there at the 3/4.
Yeah, nonetheless, yeah, that's an impressive clocking off a half in 102 and 2 for the winner, A Splash of Green, Green Manalishi filly, for Team McIntosh. James McDonald on board. Could Blake have another Manalishi on his hands?
I bet he's hoping so.
Yeah, he sure.
I'm sure it's no surprise going back to these Green Manalishis after what we saw last year.
Yeah. And she's got that big long gait to her, covers the ground well. Real workmanlike effort, I thought, for her. Storybook Love, though, you had to be impressed with that final quarter rally to pick up 2nd. A Massive Victory, a rock-solid 3rd in there as well. So we've been impressed so far. And again, with the trotters specifically, Mark, more than just the time, it's how they're doing it and how they look. And there have been several that I think it looks so professional. That's what jumps out.
Yeah, I thought the winner, especially there going into the first turn, a splash of green, where I referenced a couple of times that wasn't looking for a seat, just wanted to keep on marching out to the lead. And it wasn't a case of a horse that I thought looked a little hot, and that was kind of the only option. That was one that just looked very professional. And she just, and as I guess we come to expect with these McIntosh trainees, they're ready to go. They aren't necessarily needing to be babied, even though we call these baby races, and a splash of green just kind of did her business going out to the top there to grab command. Looking at horses that get off the wings with a little bit of speed and then settle, and that's the case with the 6 Massive Victory from the outside there. She got out of there real nicely and crossed over, and then ended up riding in second for a good chunk of the mile.
So other parts of the ownership group here, along with Blake, are Tim Klevencic, longtime owner from Trenton, the Clemmer Holdings Incorporated, also of Trenton, and Chris Storms of Picton, Ontario. So they will be excited to watch this one debut. 3/4 time, we're getting word from the production studio, was 131, so that was a 28-4 last quarter. It's about what we thought. It was.
And then that gives Storybook Love, who again was 5 or 6 off the lead, a 27-4 or so final quarter, which would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure. Still very impressive. But yeah, we were just thinking, boy, that would be making a statement right off the bat for sure. So we will take another commercial break. We've got 2 more left to go, and Primetime Racing's Rookie Showcase continues.
Winback Farm of Ontario is home to outstanding sires, including a 3-time millionaire pacer tattoo artist who is new in 2025, the last great son of the legendary Sub Beach Somewhere and multiple stakes champion Beachglass, Meadowlands Pace and Ontario Sire Stakes champion Lawless Shadow, and the richest pacing stallion in all of harness racing history, the great Hall of Famer Mick Wicked. Also standing at Winbank Farm, Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line by MVP and Trixton. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.
Preferred Equine Online has proven time and time again to be the industry's online provider, selling the highest priced horses in all categories online, including racehorses, broodmares, yearlings, weanlings, and scallion shares. Full service, trusted and transparent. Contact Preferred for your online sales needs at www.preferredequineonline.com or call 914-773-7777.
Back on the pace, qualifier number 5 as we return to coverage of the Rookie Showcase from Woodbine Mohawk Park. A picture-perfect Friday morning. It's Pepsi North America Cup Elimination Weekend here in Campbellville, Ontario. And, of course, plenty of other eliminations from the other high-profile races tonight. The Armbro Flight, good times, Elims as well, Fan Hanover, Elims tomorrow night, and much more to go along with those NA Cup Elims as we turn the focus back on the 2-year-olds here on the pace. Field of 7 filly pacers going to the post here. There's number 1, Savor the Memory. She's an all bets off filly, full sibling to Moment Is Here. Of course, he was a past Little Brown Jug elimination winner. He was an Ontario Sire Stakes Super Final champion. Raced against a great crop that included the likes of Stockade Sealster and more here in Ontario. $824,000 in his bank account and counting. And here is the full sister to him, post 1, and Scott Young picking up a nice drive.
Yeah, daughter of All Bets Off here, who Pass Line, the standout filly, is his richest to this point with she made nearly $1 million racing, but Moment Is Here, over $800,000 earned. But I look on a day like today with the fillies, so who else are some top fillies coming out of that stallion? And how about a mare that just plugs away, and she's going to be nothing but an ATM machine for her connections in Glenboro, who just shows in, week out. She is the 4th richest earner of All Bets Off. Big plans, the connections would be familiar with. So that's All Bets Off is certainly chipped away and had a lot of success here on the filly and the mare side.
it's so tough for new stallions to come in. He came in, and I think he's made a really good account of himself here in what is a tough program with many top stallions. It's hard to kind of break right through and become that kind of home run stallion. But I think he's settling in now, and you're seeing. We'll see here as each season goes on. He's going to settle in and be just a really top stallion year in, year out, and. You have to be excited when you see a full sibling to one like Moment is here, he was an instant hit. I remember him, a real good 2-year-old, 2 and 3, and continued on that. Of course, the new kid on the block in the stallion ranks is Cattle Wash. Of course, he had the crop that raced in New Jersey last season that dominated there. This will be kind of his first full crop here in Ontario this season. We're looking forward to that. He was quite a horse on the racetrack, Mark. 46-4 record holder. He had blinding speed, made $1.3 million, tussling with some of the best in the sport, and had his biggest moment in 2021 when he won the William R. Houghton Memorial. He's the sire of 6 starters here this morning, and a lot of them coming right here in this contest.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He had high speed, right? And that obviously got put on display as his career went along. And now you just wonder how that transitions to his offspring. But I mean, a mark of 146-4 kind of puts him in some pretty elite company in the history of racing. And that first crop did get a chance to race in the United States last year. They were New Jersey sire, now comes into Ontario, where I think there's certainly some opportunity, and I think that's definitely what the connections had to think. And here you're going to get a chance to see a few of them today, as you mentioned. You saw some of the stats that were up there on the screen, and I'm excited to see how he's going to fare here in Ontario with this first group. And I think there was enough of a buzz around them last year when we got to the yearling sale season last fall.
Yeah, for sure. And one of his group here that I'm anxious to see is Regal White Sox, and the mare Regal Hurricane's been a very good producer. Produced a couple of real hard hitters. Regal Electra, winner of over $1 million, 51 career trips to the winner's circle. Regal Tiger has done even better, 73 career victories for that one, $550K on his card. So the mare knows how to produce horses who can win, and teams up here with Cattle Wash for this one. Regal White Sox, or the Rod Boyd stable in this spot. Pelican Bay, number 7. Love the name, first of all. And I like the pedigree on this one, too. The mare Osprey Blue Chip, this will be the 3rd foal. The first one, Dreambird, a sub-150 pacer.
And a Captain Crunch here as we continue to get an opportunity to see some of the different sires over the course of the morning. Been some good variety, and those Captain Crunches are certainly holding their own and having an opportunity to succeed. And we'll get a chance to hear and see what this one can do, this filly here in this 5th qualifier.
All right, the starting gate getting underway here. 7 of them going to line up in qualifier number 5. The 5th of 6 this morning from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Mark, take it away.
Here is the field of 7, 5th qualifier today. Number 1, Savor the Moment, is a daughter of All Bets Off. The number 2 is Cleo Panther, a daughter of Panther Hanover. 3, TH Check Me Out, is a daughter of Cattle Wash and a graduate of the Harrisburg sale at $32,000 US. 4 is Malicious Speed, Cattle Wash filly. Number 5, Riding the Rodeo, another Cattle Wash filly, this one out of the Lexington Select sale, $24,000 US. Number 6, Regal White Sox, and again we stick with the Cattle Wash. Regal White Sox is the 6th, and 7 is Pelican Bay, a Captain Crunch filly. So that is your field of 7 for today's 5th qualifier. It'll be our final look at the pacing fillies here today. 6th and final qualifier, we'll move back over to the trot. So the pacing fillies lined up as the starting gate comes to the top of the stretch. And they're off and pacing. Malicious Speed down the middle. Over to the inside is Cleo Panther, who quickly takes down to the rail. Here's Regal White Sox, who is pushing ahead as she'll move up into a 2nd. Lining up was TH Check Me Out. Also getting into line, Savor the Moment from the rail. That one a little wide to the first turn. Then we are going to make our way back to the final pair in Riding the Rodeo and Pelican Bay. Opening quarter is coming up here now, and it's Malicious Speed up front. Opening quarter was chopped out in 30-3. So it's Militia Speed, daughter of Cattle Wash, clear by a couple of lengths. Regal White Sox is in second. Third into the backstretch is Cleo Panther. Then we're going to find TH Check Me Out in fourth. Savor the Moment is racing in fifth. Riding the Rodeo is sixth, and it's 2.5 lengths back to Pelican Bay, the trailer, in seventh. It's Militia Speed, and the horse with speed in the name gets to show the way this first tour around for these 2-year-old pacing fillies, and they come up to the half. Militia Speed gets them by that marker in 101-4. A 2-length leader right now on Regal White Sox. Then we're going to go back to Cleo Panther in third, followed along in fourth by TH Check Me Out. Savor the Moment, she is racing in fifth. Right behind her in sixth is Riding the Rodeo, and Pelican Bay is seventh. 5/8 of the mile now completed, and as they make their way around this big sweeping far turn here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, it's Militia Speed still leading it. Regal White Sox is trying to get a little bit closer, almost to the helmet on the leader, as they're by 3/4 in 1:32 even to the top of the stretch. And we'll see if Militia Speed can go the distance. Regal White Sox starting to edge to the outside. Cleo Panther is in third. TH Check Me Out stays to the inside of that rival. Less than 1/8 of a mile to go. Regal White Sox on the outside is pressing. Militia Speed is responding. Militia Speed, Regal White Sox, these two to decide it. Militia Speed trying to hold on, and at the wire, looked like Militia Speed held on from Regal White Sox second. Cleo Panther was third. TH Check Me Out was fourth. The time was 1:59-4.
Another crisp 27-4 final quarter to just find the wire in time for Militia Speed. The Cattle Wash filly holding on here, was put on the front early, and will get it done for Team Jameson in this spot. Holds off Regal White Sox, who closed right up and got to within a nose of this one. We should give a little bit of love as well to the Panther Hanover filly, Cleo Panther, who showed good late wheels on the end as well, and was closing up a little bit against those two strong winners, and others looked good in here as well. Just a real nice looking group overall. They're beautifully gated fillies. They just know what they're doing. You can tell all the preparation that's gone on all winter long, getting ready to pay off here for some of these. So yeah, easy to get excited about the group we just saw there.
Certainly, and you'd like to see a little bit of grit shown there by the winner, just to make sure she can get everything right to the wire there to hold on, as Regal White Sox, as mentioned, was really bearing down on the outside. So a couple of good-looking Cattle Wash fillies, and as we expect, Cattle Wash should make an immediate impact here in Ontario, and right there gets a winner in Militia Speed, and passed along to us. There's a 1-second variant here today for what that's worth. I guess, you know, there's a little bit of wind here, and for these rookies out here. So 59-4, I think anything really in that ballpark is what we were already expecting. And you know, that those final quarters is again what we're going to keep our closest eye on. And you said it, 27-4 home. The second place finisher in Regal White Sox, probably about 27-3, maybe 27-2. You know, it's good final quarter speed here today, shown by these youngsters.
The winner, bred by Danielle Henry of Saint Esprit, Quebec. Don McRae of Prince Edward Island, prominent owner from PEI, owns this one. And Carl Jameson Training, Jody in the driver's seat for Militia Speed. Carl, another one of those guys, he's known. He's got the 2-year-olds ready to rock right off the bat. They come prepared and ready to play. And we saw that again here this morning with Militia Speed. Out of the Art Major Mare Miss Malicious, she's been a good producer. 4 race winners for her. The richest of those, horse called Wreck Time, $384,000 winner. And a nice-looking prospect here, the Cattle Wash filly Militia Speed, victorious in qualifier number 5. One more to go. When we come back on Primetime Racing, it will be Trotters to wrap up the Rookie Showcase.
All sports dynasties share one thing.
Home run! Another world championship!
They dominate. Hanover Shoe Farms, the most successful breeder of Hambletonian champions, producing an impressive total of 11 winners, has dominated the race. Purchase Hanover yearlings at Harrisburg. Hanover Shoe Farms, a standard bred dynasty.
Doesn't get any better than that! Wow!
Winback Farm of Ontario is home to outstanding sires, including three-time millionaire pacer tattoo artist who is new in 2025, the last great son of the legendary Sub Beach Somewhere and multiple stakes champion Beach Glass, Meadowlands Pace and Ontario Sire Stakes champion Lawless Shadow, and the richest pacing stallion in all of harness racing history, the great Hall of Famer Mick Wicked. Also standing at Winback Farm, Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Betting Line by MVP in Trixton. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.
All right. Well, this, in case we were nodding off, Mark, we just got a little wake-up call. And good reminder, when you're at the baby races, these are youngsters. This is new territory. And one got a little bit skittish right in behind us. But we're okay. We're good. We're fresh and awake now and ready to go.
Well, if the equipment had got damaged here, that was going to be basically a sibling-on-sibling crime. So,
yeah,
luckily, Cujo Entertainment isn't going to have to be buying any new gear.
Yeah, I think I heard Curtis say in our ear that, don't worry about the guys as long as the equipment's safe. Just kidding, of course. And yeah, that's what we love, though, being right up close to the action here. And this is what I love, the shot from inside the paddock, so we can get a real nice, good look at these youngsters as they make their way out. For many of them, it's going to be the first time facing rivals behind the starting gate like this, and yeah, a whole new experience for them. And like we've mentioned numerous times today, we really like what we've seen from them so far. Getting a look at them on track here. Trotters to wrap things up today. Another field of 6, another wide variety of trotting stallions represented in here. There's one by Chimpanzee. Kind of cool, right? We're seeing offspring of Green Shoe, Green Manalishi, Chimpanzee today. Of course, they were the big three that raced in the same season together, stablemates for Marcus Melander. That year, they were all champions in their own right. Chimpanzee, filly solo to Lexington, your post 3 starter in here. $35,000 Lexington yearling purchase. Paige and James McDonald team up with this one in here. And she's from Brahmasol. Herself is a $250,000 yearling. This will be her second foal. She, of course, is sister to the great Caprice Hill, teaming up with Chimpanzee here. So, $35,000 purchase with the pedigree potential that you see here. Looks like an astute buy.
Yeah, and
right on track right now to be here qualifying today.
And I was going to say, with it being a Chimpanzee, the Kentucky Sire Stakes program is unique in the sense that you can have dual eligibles as long as the mare was there for a certain amount of time. But this is actually a Kentucky Stallion in Chimpanzee, which in its own right comes with the opportunity to earn some bonus money by racing in the Kentucky Sire Stakes if you're racing that racing an off son or daughter of a Kentucky Stallion. So there's certainly some opportunities out there for this filly, and ready to go here first week. And this is one that James McDonald told me yesterday. He said not expecting this one's probably just going to go out and go right down the road. He said if you notice her, he's maybe not doing his job the way he's expecting, but also mentioning too that you just got to play it by ear, but that she's come along very nicely. So a Chimpanzee filly, and I just think back to that season 2019, as you talked about, when those Melander three-headed monster that he had, those horses were just electric to watch, and a couple of them had some pretty big moments, including Chimpanzee right here at Woodbine Mohawk Park.
And I wonder if there's any kind of a story to the name at all.
I'm not sure if there is, actually. Yeah, we'll have to find out one day.
And when you talk about Paige and James, of course, they've already had some success. Of course, Hasty Bid's been an awfully good one for them. So they're hoping lightning can strike again here with this filly, one of a bunch of really well-bred youngsters in the field. The Green Manalishi filly, Flowing Tribute, post 2 starter from the Paul Reed stable. She's a London Classic yearling sale graduate, $30,000 purchase. And Green Manalishi, a sibling The mayor watched the show, sibling to the Millionaire. Now's the moment. A lot of pedigree potential there. Trinity's Diamond, number 1. Same scenario here. The mayor on the Wild side. See, full sibling to Wild Ticket, who's been a good one, a good youngster from the Marcus Melander stable as well. And she's a daughter of Chapter 7. We've seen a few of them here this morning.
That's what I was going to say. I think one of the most impressive horses we've seen today was back in Qualifier 4, which was another Matt Bax trainee in Storybook Love, who was a Chapter 7 filly. So the Bax stable has another daughter of Chapter 7, and Chapter 7 just so widely popular, and why not? Because he's had just incredible results as a stallion, and he was great on the racetrack as well. And Trinity's Diamond will be the inside starter, homebred for a long-time, very successful owner, Al Libfeld.
Excellent looking field of 6 for our finale this morning. It's day 1 of the Rookie Showcase for 2025 here on Primetime TV. Mark McKelvey doing a wonderful job as always, doing double duty today, calling the action as well from right here beside me in our paddock location. He's got the call of our 6th and final next.
Yes, we get to wrap things up here today as the 6th qualifier is about to get underway, and we've got a field of 6 2-year-old trotting fillies. Number 1, Trinity's Diamond, this daughter of Chapter 7, a homebred for Al Libfeld. We move on to number 2. That is Flowing Tribute, daughter of Green Manalishi. She was a $30,000 yearling purchase out of the London Classic sale. Number 3 is Solo to Lexington, daughter of Chimpanzee, a $35,000 U.S. purchase out of the Lexington Select sale. 4 is Ms. Miracle, Green Manalishi filly. She's a graduate of the Lexington sale as well, $25,000. 5 is Life is Great, daughter of Resolve, out of the Lexington sale for $50,000 U.S. And 6 is Captainess Sawyer, and that was a $25,000 Lexington Select yearling sale purchase. So you've got a field of 6 here, 2-year-old trotting fillies ready to go as we'll wrap things up. The fillies on display today, the Colts tomorrow. Another 6 qualifiers, baby races to get underway at 9:30. Gate into the stretch. Here they come for qualifier number 6. And they're off and trotting here in today's final qualifier. And from the outside, Captainess Sawyer was trying to show some early speed and rolled off stride. Striking the early advantage is going to be Ms. Miracle, as Life is Great moves up into 2nd. Trinity's Diamond is in 3rd. Flowing Tribute is 4th. Solo to Lexington to that one's outside. And Captainess Sawyer, who made the break at the start, back trotting and will look to catch on up. Around the first turn they go. And Jody Jameson's got Ms. Miracle out in front. Ms. Miracle, Life is Great, about 4 lengths back. The opening quarter was 30-2. So Ms. Miracle, daughter of Green Manalishi, is the leader as they straighten into the backstretch. 2nd continues to be Life is Great, followed in 3rd by Trinity's Diamond. 2 lengths back to Flowing Tribute in 4th. Solo to Lexington tracks that rival in 5th. Captainess Sawyer is the trailer, about a dozen lengths behind her nearest rival. But all alone on the lead here is Ms. Miracle, who leads it by about 5 or 6 lengths coming up to the midway point. Ms. Miracle doing her thing as she was by the half in 1 minute and 4/5. So keeping things honest there. 30-2 back-to-back splits here in this opening half mile. It's Ms. Miracle still the leader. Life is Great is in 2nd. Trinity's Diamond is right behind that one in 3rd. It's 2.5 lengths. Then going back to Flowing Tribute in 4th. Another 2 lengths to Solo to Lexington in 5th. And Captainess Sawyer is the trailer. So Ms. Miracle's been all by herself here through the middle half, and she comes to 3/4 off a half-mile time of 1 minute and 4/5. She is by the 3/4 marker, and that was hit in 1:32. Top of the stretch, and it's all Ms. Miracle. So Ms. Miracle has the jump on them by far. Trinity's Diamond is to the outside now, looking to slingshot by into 2nd. Life is Great is at the inside 3rd. Outside is Flowing Tribute. Solo to Lexington behind them in 5th. A 16th of a mile to go. Ms. Miracle going all the way to wrap things up here in qualifier number 6. Ms. Miracle takes it. Flowing Tribute had good final quarter speed to get up into 2nd. Then it was Trinity Diamonds in 3rd, followed by Life is Great and Solo to Lexington. The final time was 1:59.4 for Ms. Miracle.
Another winner for Jody Jameson this morning as Ms. Miracle was ready to rock at first asking. Green Manalishi filly, second winner for that stallion this morning, 59-4, and polishing things off with 27-4 final quarter speed. You certainly had to appreciate the late rally as well of Flowing Tribute. The runner-up finisher here came from a long way back into that fast final quarter as well. 59-4 on the trot. Real nice way to wrap things up here this morning on a very impressive morning qualifying session. So for drivers too, very exciting time of year as you see your name listed on some of these. Likely that some of these guys have been out in the morning too, right, over at the farms, perhaps helping train some of these horses down. So yeah, we're not really sure, but could be well acquainted with some of these youngsters, and that's why you're maybe seeing some of them handled so confidently this morning.
Well, I will say if you're Jody Jameson, you're feeling pretty good about the way things have started out, and everybody hopes to have a nice group of 2-year-olds to go with, and they need to start somewhere, and starting on the right foot is always a good place to begin.
Yeah, and you hear those stories over the years, right? And it can work both ways. Some guys, pick off good youngsters early. They misjudge or get fooled, and can be either the wrong way and get unfortunate to lose what turns out to be a champion horse, the drive on a champion horse, and others kind of fall into good fortune as someone else makes the wrong decision. So that's the game that they have to try and play here to make sure that they're they're here, they're picking onto the right horses here in the morning, and they've got to have a keen eye to establish, okay, who's legit, who are just going to be players, and who maybe has that extra special gear that we're looking for.
Well, that's it. 6 down already, and 6 more to come up tomorrow. But I think the fillies really showed well, and I won't say they're putting a little pressure on the colts, but if anything, it just kind of gets us a little extra excited for what we could see tomorrow. Yeah, we hope everyone has enjoyed the coverage here this morning, our first edition of the Rookie Showcase for 2025 on Primetime Racing. Again, we want to a big thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors. Perhaps we'll show them again one more time at the bottom of the screen, who made this coverage possible here today. Several of the most prominent breeding farms in the sport, not only here in Canada, but North American wide. Hanover Shoe Farms, Winback, Sealster Farms as well. Harness Racing Update for part of the coverage today. Twinbrook Farms as well, one of the premier breeding establishments in Ontario, and their horses, of course, do well worldwide. The London Classic yearling sale, of course, entries have closed for that this year. Going to have 300 plus entries and a great catalog coming up this fall, preferred online as well. And the Hambletonian Society, of course, a big year for the Hambletonian, the 100th anniversary. You have to be excited about that. Certainly, and that's a huge milestone. Definitely excited for that. And it's a race and a day that never fails to disappoint, Greg. You know that. It's one of the best days of the entire year in all of horse racing. Looking forward to it, and I know there's certainly some good celebrations that are being planned to mark this huge milestone. So it has been a lot of fun, and we're just getting started. We hope you can join us again tomorrow morning. Coverage at 9:15. We'll turn our attention to the rookie boys, both trotters and pacers. Another 6-pack coming up here tomorrow morning, and hope to see you tonight, as well as a big weekend of elimination races kicks off here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on Prime Time Racing.